I am in Paris at the Palais Galliera, and I'm going to take you through the exhibit on fashion of the 18th century. And I have a dual ticket to also see an exhibit on weaving, embroidering, and embellishing the crafts and trades of fashion. The 18th century show is going on until July 12th of 2026, and we're going to walk through and look at all of these beautiful designs. And the embroidery and embellishing exhibit is on until, I believe, October 18th of 2026. If you are in Paris and you love fashion and fabric and dresses like what we're looking at here, definitely get tickets to come and see this. The Palais Galliera is actually one I had never heard of before. It's a small museum that has always been a fashion museum. They have wonderful exhibits going on throughout the year, and what's on display here right now you don't want to miss. They have Marie Antoinette's corset, which we will come to soon as we walk through. But first we're going to look at all of these beautiful gowns from the 1700s. And I will say my GoPro does not do well in low light, so if you see some jitter in the footage, I'm going to try and edit that out as we go, but hopefully you can get a sense of how gorgeous this display is, and it goes on for rooms and rooms and rooms. So if you want to wander and just look at beautiful textiles and dresses from the 1700s, don't skip the Palais Galliera in the first half of 2026. Let's go check it out. These are all from the 1750s to 1760s. French style with this pleating in the back like this, where it came down from the top in two pleats. And while we're looking at these beautiful displays, I'm going to walk you through a little bit of the history of this gorgeous mansion because it has sort of an interesting backstory. The Palais Galliera is a mansion that was originally built between 1878 and 1894 for the Duchess of Galliera, who inherited a large fortune when her husband died and decided to build a museum to house her art collection here, which she wanted to then bequeath to the city. She pledged to have the museum and a square nearby built at her own expense, and in 1879 work began. In 1884, in a handwritten will, the Duchess charged the city back for the construction of the museum to the tune of 6.5 million francs for all prior work and work still planned to complete the project. In 1886, a law was passed obliging heads of former ruling French families and their heirs to leave the territory, which included the Duchess. She was outraged at the law, but unable to reverse her donation of the museum, she decided to reassign her art collection and sent it to Italy, to the Palazzo Rossa in Genoa. She died in December of 1888, before the end of construction. Her heirs decided to complete the work on the museum and the square, and it was finished in 1894. But there was now no collection to house in this new museum, as her original collection of art was still in Italy. So the city of Paris had to find a new purpose for this beautiful museum space. The first exhibit was devoted to portraits of women and lace, followed by stints as a museum of industrial art, contemporary art, and later it was let out to Parisian auctioneers for their upscale sales. And then it finally became the Museum of Fashion and Costume in 1977. There are several exhibits, temporary exhibits here every year, but the most important one we're going to see involves Marie Antoinette's corset, which is noted in this particular book here, and then we got to actually see it up close. It was so amazing to be looking at an actual garment that she wore. There are not many pieces left of her personal clothing, mostly because during the revolution and after her execution, most of her things were either stolen or actually destroyed. So there aren't many things that are verified as having been worn by Marie Antoinette herself. This one is verified as far as we know, so very, very cool to see this here in this museum. So if you're here in the first half of 2026, it is worth a stop just to come in and see this amazing historic garment. would wear that under your dress. So you have pockets that you would have stuff hidden underneath your dress. You could carry things. Super handy. Another well-worn corset. Look how small these are. You can't believe how little these pieces are. Corset worn by Mathilde Bonaparte. And yes, niece of Napoleon. These are all folding fans from the 1890s. Beautiful black dress, wow. 1898 evening gown. $17.75, $17.90. Beautiful little jacket. They're so small. Goodness. That looks like about an 18-inch waist from the late 1700s. And the late 1800s. $17.78. $18.99. Day bodice and evening bodice. It's all embroidered. English style dress from 1780s. Absolutely stunning. Bodice of an evening gown. Just one fascinating room after another. Oh my goodness. All from the 1700s. Sort of like a bathrobe right there. Very beautiful. From 1910. Indoor gown from 1900. Ceremonial gown from 1880. This is the darkest purple. Beautiful. Oh my goodness. And same time frame, 1885. All of this work. Oh my goodness. These are from the 1920s. Evening gown. Oh my goodness. short evening dress from the 1900s. So you kind of go through the centuries and come forward. This is Christian Dior. Fabric from the 1750s, dress from the 1950s. Wow. Man's coat that belonged to Claude Le Moral from 1685. Evening coat with fabric from the 1750, coat from the late 1960s. So they're using old fabric to make newer fashion. Wow. This was created for a TV series called Antoinette. These are Dior. So they're modern, but they're in old style. Gorgeous. This is a Vivienne Westwood gown designed based off of a gown worn by Madame de Pompadour for a portrait. Oh my goodness. Cartier magazine cover. Beautiful sequin. It's all glittery. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but it's very glittery. And then if you buy a double ticket and come downstairs, there's a whole more gallery about how things are made and the more dresses. 2 whole floors of dresses, you guys. Balenciaga, evening dress, and bolero. If you can look really close, you'll see that this entire thing is sequin. It's just layers of sequins. Man's dressing gown from 1730. Two-part evening gown that belonged to a countess in 1900. Very beautiful, black and gold. Costume ball gown from the late 1930s. Evening gown from the 80s. There's so much to see here that it's actually almost overwhelming. Christian Dior, 1954. Oh, look at that. Top and skirt outfit. Super short dress. Summer dress from 1832 for someone who was about 4'8", if that. Super, super short. Dressing gown from 1890.
This was actually made from a cashmere scarf that was no longer in fashion, so they turned it into something else. This is a silk shawl, Manila shawl it's called, from the early 1900s, embroidered with floral patterns. And a short cape from 1870. Train. Offered by the Viceroy of Egypt to Empress Marie Louise on the occasion of her marriage to Napoleon I. This train was a luxurious diplomatic gift. 1920s parasol. And in 1880, Visite coat. This piece was cut from a kimono belonging to a samurai. It goes on and on and on. Muslin looking dress with white on white embroidery. 1936 violet dress. Absolutely gorgeous. Camisole and pantaloons from the 1900s, early 1900s. Oh, look how small the waist. Oh, that's even possible. Wedding gown from 1895. That's about 8 inches wide. Seriously. Maybe 10. From the 1750s, a muff and a clutch. The coat of the Grand Marshal du Palais de Combertrand from 1813. The front of a man's vest from 1750-ish. Absolutely stunning gold. Gold gloves from 1800. Embroidery samples from 1805, 1815, 1830. Shoes from 1890. Dinner gown from 1892. Not sure why we don't still dress like that, but it sure be fun. Evening dress from the roaring 20s. Evening bag shaped like a flower, 1925. All beaded. These are all 1920s. Beaded. That was from the 80s, 60s, and 70s. These are all beaded, tiny, tiny beads. There's a magnifying glass here that you can look at. These are from the 1800s. 1800s. Tiny, tiny beads. It's actually easy to get lost in here because you zigzag around so much. 1958. Summer dress from 1855. And from 1765. 1911. Beautiful. I would wear that. 1850 two-part day gown. sweaters from 1860. They're so small. They look like they're not even 3 inches wide. How small are people? This waistcoat from 1775-ish.
This was such a fun walk through this museum. If you love this sort of thing, you must come and see this gorgeous collection. I think the dual combo ticket for these two exhibits was like 17 euros. The museum is easy to reach off of line 9 on the metro, I believe. I walked here from the Petit Palais and it wasn't too long of a walk even from there. It's open every day except closed on Monday, and it has a late opening. You can get in as late as 8 p.m. on Fridays. So if you love this sort of thing, definitely come and check this out, especially this particular exhibit going on in 2026. Thanks for coming along through the beautiful Palais Galliera with me. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.